Okay, good morning. It is Monday. It's the first trading day of March, and today honestly was a pretty good day. I just wanted to go over some of my trades for today, and I had this up on a um, live stream this morning. If you want to check that out, I stream every morning at 6:30 to 7 o'clock a.m. EST, so you guys can tune into that anytime you guys want. I just want to go over some entries and exits, some of the trades that I took today, and honestly, we traded the stock Acon, and you could see here Acon was our leading gapper this morning. At the time, it was our second leading gapper underneath a penny stock BTOG. It had 129,000 shares float. At the time, it also had 5 million shares of volume, and we were looking at this for a squeeze up through 7. And so the first thing I thought about doing was, okay, what can I get into support? We already had this nice move up. I just sat down. I'm trying to get my, 12 minutes into this live stream, right? I'm trying to get my feet set here. I'm trying to take a nice trade. We have a nice 1 minute pullback here. We need a little bit of another pullback before we see another continuation going higher. So we have a resistance at 679, and I'm looking to get below that resistance for the breakthrough and continuation going up higher. And we have support around 642. You can see from this line right here. I think I marked this out through the high of one of these candles and just brought that down. So I'm looking for some volume to come in, and when volume does, I'm looking to add to the position. So you can see my position window up here in this window. I have this blocking me, unfortunately, so you can't see the exact trade. But hopefully I can play it and it'll be good. So we have a little bit of dip coming through here at 650, 660. It holds this level, and I'm like, okay, it's holding this 660 level. So if we can get back up to 670, 671, we could see this thing go up to high a day. And so I was just looking for like a 670 to 680 trade. But instead, this is what happened. We had a nice 670 dip, 670 here, and then, okay, I think this is a little early, but this thing will give a nice solid move here. If we look through here, I can hear myself. Okay. If we see this breakthrough, we have a little bit of a dip again, and then it starts catching some momentum just before 7. And you can see when I get in the entry here, dips just for one more time. And then all of a sudden you see that massive start on the level 2, you'll see green on the tape. And that order flow is volume picking up, coming in for the breakthrough a certain level. And I noticed that you'll see me punch a position here immediately as soon as I realize, oh, people are stepping up to trade this. It just touched the 9 EMA, and it's looking to continue going up and scale. So I take that trade over 7. That was a really quick trade, but I get in at, let's see here. I get in at 771, it looks like. So yep, right there. So immediately 20 cents a trade, 20 cents per share on that trade. And so that gets a nice pop up to 720. I took 200 shares of that position. I just wanted to get my feet set for the rest. And then I just hesitate here for a minute. I open my account back up, and I'm thinking, okay, so we see this move up to 720 here, right? If we see this break 720 and reclaim this level, we could see this potentially going up to 750. So I look for a second. I'm like, I don't know. It's not really having the volume that I want to see. It might not go back to higher days. Instead, I want to look out for a dip then. So if I don't think it's going to break higher days, I'm not going to add a position in there. I'm going to wait for a dip entry. And I believe I get in off a dip around this level off a 7. So normally stocks trade between half dollars and whole dollars. So it's very often that 7, 8, 9 are all support and resistance levels depending on if the price is above or below. So I'm looking to get off of a dip on 7. Let's see here. I get in off a dip. It breaks below 7, reclaims it. I get in, and it goes up to 710, and I get out for a little bit of profit. Nothing too crazy. I think I took like 500 shares of that position. Later on, we scale out through here. And I'm looking to get in another trade through break of high a day. This didn't give the move that I was looking for off that dip. So I sold, but we continue to see trades go through here. So I take another trade for another dip. It looks like, let me see. This is really kind of, let me see if I can get here. That might be a better view. So we take a trade here through the break. So right there, 710. I'm looking for this to scale to 720. Break 720, go to 740. It doesn't quite give that move. It kind of hesitates, goes to 715. I'm kind of scaling in and out here. I'm not really liking the way this is trading. I wanted to see this immediately pop through. So I'm kind of holding on to this trade, waiting to see if it's going to scale through 20 here. And it doesn't really end up doing it. So I ended up cutting that trade for, a break even, more or less. I think I got like $14 or $10 of profit on that stock at that time. And then all of a sudden I see TRA pop up and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. But the problem with TRA at least is that one, volume never really picked up on it. It did have news, which was nice. But the only problem was the volume. There wasn't really a lot of volume coming through, so there was nothing for me to trade at least. And we sometimes see that in stocks where, a stock will have news, breaking news, and then it'll kind of just hold around that level that it just popped to, and traders don't really jump on it, algos don't really jump on it, and so it's just kind of stuck, and then you'll see that reverse and not really have any momentum, right? So it's just kind of reversing here. Not really into it. I go back to Acon. I see Acon here. We're coming back to support, and so this is another dip off the 29 EMA or the 20 EMA. It holds this level. I take a trade off of 686 here, and I'm looking for this to get back to 7, right? It kind of holds this level. I'm watching on the tape here. I'm down a couple cents. I'm not really too worried about it, and I cut it for a loss, right? So I have 2 good trades and then 1 bad trade. Now, the problem with this trade, I think, is that one, it was an okay trade, but the only problem is that I didn't like about it is I cut it at support. I didn't even let it break support, right? So I look to get back in. I get back in at support, and I'm like, okay, I got in, and I had to sell immediately. I got in at a lower price, more of support, so I'm looking for this to scale back up through 7. I get a nice pop to 90, and I take it all off there, and I sit back, and I'm like, okay, so I just got profit, I gave it back, I made it back. Okay, so now we're just kind of churning commissions here. And that was kind of the theme of today, where over trading just it really didn't help me. So I keep trading here, and I'm like, okay, let me look for my next position. And this could be a possible add as it breaks over to the 7. Let's see if it breaks 7. Goes straight to 7. It's over. I'm like, okay, does it hold? I'm waiting for it to hold 7. I'm like, okay, is it holding 7? I'm not sure if it's going to break over. It's holding 7, which is nice. You can add for the squeeze up through here. Now, I didn't take that trade, but I did try to. The problem was the hockey that I had wasn't working because I didn't change the hockey type. And so what I'm trying to say is that when I went to go shift M, which is my buy 100 share position, and I kind of hit that multiple times depending on the stock that I trade, I was holding shift M, which was good. The problem was I didn't reroute that key to shift M, so it was still on shift U. I thought I had originally changed that, but I guess I didn't. So I would have been in this nice scale up all the way up to 760 over here. So that would have been a really nice trade. And I was trying to get for a trade for the break to 7, and also when it broke and hold 7. So I'm kind of just doing the same pattern over and over again. Break through a level, hold the level, continuation going higher. That would have been a really nice trade. I realize what's wrong. You can kind of see me trying to fix the issue on my hotkey over here. It's not working. I have to retype back in the stock because on the top of the level 2, it just said M. I don't know if you guys have been ever in that issue before. Anyways, we keep scaling here. I see another trade in this level, and I'm kind of having some FOMO, right? And the reason why I'm having a little bit of FOMO is I just missed a really big move. So I look to see if I can get off a dip. I add in at 732 here for a dip as it's curling up. Now the problem is that we're kind of a little bit of distance away from the 9 EMA. So it pops down even further there, and then this would have been a nicer spot to get in at the 30s level. Now my average position is at 32, which is not far away. So if it scales up, I still have a little bit of profit, which is not bad. It comes back up to my average. Goes back to the 9 EMA. This is a nice dip right there. My average is 734. I add for the break through 40, and it kind of stalls out. It doesn't really go. I think it taps 40. I was looking to see it get over 41, 42, 43. Doesn't really get it, and it kind of just fails this level here. I hold, and I'm like, okay, I have to cut it here, I believe. Let's watch. I cut it there, and so we're just trying kind of turning commissions. I'm making profit, I'm giving it back, I'm making profit, and I'm getting it back. So this is a cycle here, right? And I'm not realizing it in the moment. I'm just thinking like, oh, let me just take this trade for a break. But the problem is that most traders miss this move, right? A lot of traders, I'm sure, miss this move, just like me. Now I was watching it for a trade, it didn't work, but then I try to get in for a dip, doesn't work, and then I try adding for the breakthrough, it doesn't work, but we just had this nice pop and rejection. So we have to be careful of something like that. I kind of sit here for a minute thinking, okay, let me see if I can get another trade in this area. It dips all the way below here. And this is a nice dip trade right here. You can see how on Acon, right? It was I was showing that what was happening, so it looked like that on my tape, because when I was pressing Shift M, it wasn't quite working. So I showed that for a second. It bounces off this support level, continues grinding higher. I'm looking to see if it can get above 720 and hold. It doesn't, and then we kind of just watch it here in this level. I marked the high. Another stock pops up. Watching it for a second, it doesn't really do much. I come back to Acon, and this is where it consolidates, and it kind of trapped me here, right? And so I was thinking, okay, this might be a really nice trade up for the breakthrough 7. And so this is what happened on the stock, right? So we're looking to get above 7, which it's at 701 now, hold 7, and continue going higher. So right in this area, I should add for a trade up through the highs here. So I should be adding in this level. I add for the break of 712. Now I'm up, right? It's going up. I'm up $24. I'm looking for the break of 724, and then it kind of just stalls out and curls back down. I get out for that trade, right? So I took that profit off, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay, this might be a rejection. We're not over 710 anymore. I watch. Now we're at 7. I watch for a little bit longer. I take a dip off at 706, seeing if it's going to retest 710. Does for a second. Retest here. Nice trade. I'm up again, right? And then I get out for a profit, and then boom, it flushes, right? So I got to be careful here, because I just had a dip trade. And so now I'm looking for a nice dip trade again. So I'm watching this level. It taps 679, and I get in at 692. Now here's the problem with 692. It doesn't stop there. It keeps going. Now, luckily, I only had like 100 or 200 share position. So I'm like, okay, I'm down 20 cents right now. Maybe even more if this continues going on. I can add for a bounce up and continue going, because I have small share size. I knew it's a dip trade, might not work. So I took small share size. It dips, but it keeps going. So now I'm down 30 cents. I'm like, ooh, that's rough. I can add for this dip here. That's a nice dip. I add. My average now is 771. I'm down 17 cents, probably on a good amount of share size, right? It drops all the way down to 642, and I'm like, ooh, that's rough. My unrealized P&L is 170 bucks. So everything that I just over traded, not only did I incur commissions, I also was break even trading. So this loss was bigger than it seemed, and I didn't want to let it go for a second. I hold, I average in a little bit more, seeing if we can get up to 70, looking for that 70 level, and it just dips back down, and I'm like, okay, I have to cut it. This dip might not continue. So I'm in right here, minus 200 P&L, unfortunately. I think I wait for a little bit of a bounce up, and then I'm just like, okay, I have to cut it. So my unrealized P&L, $140. And so what could we have done to identify this as a, breakout trade or a rejection? And one of the things that we could have seen from the rejection standpoint is that, one, it didn't hold over this level yet. It gave a dip. It didn't hold over 710 and then continue going up lower, right? So right here was a trade. I didn't see any big sellers at the time, But the only problem is that it rejected this level already, right? Look at this trade right here. It rejected once, it tried to do it again, it rejected twice. And then on the third time, this is looking nice. But the problem is that this topping tail candle up through 20 right there, you see how that candle kind of wicks up for a second? It left a little bit of a topping tail. So this dip trade was pretty nice. Now, if I didn't average down, what would I have done? Just been break even on the day? Would have been better on that front, right? So if I cut the loss before it went, right? And if I got in on this dip, right here, I'm in at 92. As soon as it didn't go through this level, I would have only lost 37 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever it was, unrealized P&L. Would have left me break even on the day. But instead of cutting the loss, I averaged down, thinking that it's going to give another dip on the 62 level. Or no, I averaged down here for this dip. It continued to go down. I averaged down one more time for the break of 60s, right? And I could have been down $10 here. Or is this $100? Let's look. It's $100, right? I could have been down $100 instead of 150. So the more of the story is, make sure you cut your losses beforehand. Luckily enough, we were able to scale into some of the trades I took. I had some nice trades on TRNR, and to call it a day, I ended up green trading Acon with bigger size. So let's look to see where I take this trade. Let's see. I think it might have been in this area right here, if this can load. Okay, so I was down a good amount. Okay, so I'm down $200 from the day. I traded Acon, a couple more attempts. It didn't go. This is kind of its third or fourth attempt trying to go off of VWAP. 1, 2, 3, got above it, held, and continued going up higher. So I'm looking for the break over 7. I'm in off a dip. I'm kind of holding this level, and I'm saying to myself, I'm over trading today. This might not go in my favor. I end up taking this trade for a little bit of profit, and then it goes without me, unfortunately. So I'm like, okay, this thing wants to go. Let's go. So I take a trade over 7 as soon as I see it hold, and then I want to see this get over 710. I take profit. It's kind of hesitating in this level, and now I'm only sitting $78 on the day down, which is not bad. I just, a couple of trades, I got myself back up to $100 from the loss. And so we're looking to see this break over 710 and continue going higher. I add for 710, take it off at 711, and it didn't give quite the break that I was looking for. So the biggest thing right now is shortening my losses. I can't afford to take another big loss. I'm looking here for the breakthrough higher. I see it hold this level, and I'm like, okay, if it gets back above 10, this might squeeze the 720. I get in at 712. I want to see this pop. It's not popping, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm gonna give this some room to try here. And then I see 712, 714, up to 720, and I'm like, that's my day right there. I just made everything back. I gave it some time. I made sure, don't let my emotions affect this trade, and it ended up working. So I ended up scaling out for a little bit of profit. I wanted to see if it continued going higher. It didn't. It immediately drops down off of a rejection. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to call it there today. It's not worth continuing trading, because it's just showing that, hey, I have the ability to reject. And once it shows you that it's capable of rejecting, it's most likely going to do it again. And most of these stocks, you can't trust after they do it. You got to get in at a lower price. You can't really trade high a day, because if you took a trade off 720, you'd be down 20 cents now. And that's just unacceptable when you're trading. So I just wanted to make a quick video here explaining some of my trades that I took this morning. And I hope you guys enjoyed some entries and exits. And we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.